Champions are not born, they are forged, tempered and shaped by the fires of competition. Each year, the nation's best amateur racers enter the flames of the Sports Car Club of America Runoffs, a single, winner-take-all event. This year, the Runoffs returns to Road America, one of the world's greatest and most challenging tracks. Over 500 drivers will take the green in the 48th annual Runoffs. Only 28 will emerge as national champions. The SCCA Runoffs, next on Speedcast TV. Our ongoing coverage here on SpeedcastTV.com of the 48th annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs continues. Next race is a very unique and new class. It's called STU, and John Bizignano, I believe, has got one of the drivers.
Thank you very much. We're actually with Eric Heinrich in his beautiful 1988 BMW M3 type car. Eric, I walked up to you a little while ago. I said, help me explain this class, and you were going on and on and on. Give me your best 20, 30 seconds on what this class is all about, STU.
Well, STU stands for Super Touring under 3 liters. It's unlike all of the other traditional SCCA classes that normally have spec lines for this car or that car, and it's an open rule set where it's displacement to weight for the naturally aspirated cars, and it's turbo restrictor to weight for the turbo cars. And it really encourages creativity and thinking outside the traditional box for coming up with a car and an engine combination. If you were to look at the top cars on the grid, you've got a touring car, all-wheel drive turbo on the front. Right beside it is a rear-wheel drive small turbo car. I'm here in a 4-cylinder naturally aspirated rear-wheel drive car, and then right beside me is another 6-cylinder naturally aspirated rear-wheel drive car. So it's a real creative mix. I think it's a class that encourages creative thinking. The drivers have been great, and this class is actually well populated. From what I could tell, I think there's as many as 8 current or former national runoff champions in this field today. So it's
but this is your first year with the SCCA. What are you doing in here with all those big boys?
Well, I've been driving with another organization for a little while, and I was doing well, and a few people said, you should be running with the SCCA, you're doing well. So here I am, and I've been able to place the car well. I've had some great support from Elephant Motorsports, and BF Goodrich has been fantastic supporting this class, a number of the drivers, including myself, and it's just been a fantastic experience.
Well, very quickly, Corey's going to pan out a little bit and show the car. What about this color scheme?
So this color scheme is actually the original. I tracked down the correct paint codes for the original Ford GT40s and Porsche 917s from John Wire Automotive when they raced back in the 60s. And I went out and actually got permission from Chevron Texaco, who owns the rights to the Gulf brand in the U.S., as well as Gulf Oil International in the U.K. They're the ones that run the Le Mans cars, to actually run the Gulf marks on the car. Gulf Oil International actually trademarked this color scheme. So in keeping of tradition and correctness, did everything the right way, and people like the car a lot. I get a lot of compliments on it.
And somehow within all that, you found time to build the car, make it run, and qualify for the championship.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've got a great car builder. I've got some great support from Elephant Motorsports. Also, 2002racing.com, German Performance Service. Mark Feinstein is my chassis engineer, who just has a phenomenal amount of knowledge and experience in tuning engines and building engines. And I've had some great support and coaching over the years from a number of people, and it's really exciting to be here.
Well, thank you for all that information. There you go, guys. That's about all everyone ever wanted to know about STU. Beautiful cars. It takes some imagination for them to go fast. The rules are less, therefore the creativity is more. Let's see what happens.
Absolutely, Biz, and I'll tell you, I was out working corners earlier in the week, and that number 10 of Eric Heinrich, when it would come through, it was eye-catching. It's a beautiful car, and he was pedaling it, obviously, up to a 3rd spot in the qualifying order. When this class was created, it was sort of envisioned as a catch-all class. Even IT, if you run IT in regionals, that's not a national class, well, bring your ITS car, and there's a guy in the field who's done exactly that, Rich Walke. You can run it here. It quickly evolved in just a couple of short years here, Chip, into almost a tuner class. And it's become very exciting, and it has expanded noticeably over what it ran last year in its first year as a full national class, and even before then when it's run in regional classes. It's gaining popularity precisely because of that open rules package.
Yeah, I walk around the pits and check out the cars. My ex Tyndall Mazda's here, and also the Stasis Audi that I raced back in 06 and 07. So I wanted to find those cars and find out who the new owners are. And in the meantime, I walked past a turbocharged first-gen ARC Miata. And I was like, how cool is this? And Jason Hoover's father is running it. And what a neat car. I mean, that'd be it. I love the Miata, and I can't imagine having a turbo with a big wing and a carbon fiber ground effects. Then I see the beautiful E30 M3, and then the X World Challenge E46 Coupe from Techmark, originally built.
Yeah.
Actually was the ex-Jason Martinelli car.
Yeah.
So that's my good friend Irish Mike is driving that car now. So it's a really neat field, and just seeing, the Spec Series is always great, but to see the different types of cars and turbo and everything else, it's going to be fun to see, and I think the fans will really enjoy it. Absolutely.
Variety. And boy, this it isn't just the manufacturers and the makes and the models of the cars here. It's the different rules and approaches. I thought Eric did a great job of talking about, look what's next to me, look what's behind me, look what I got. It's just a phenomenal mix. There's a Pontiac Solstice GXP in there. There's a Lexus IS 300. There's an Acura RS. I mean, there's a little bit of everything, and an Impreza WRX Subaru. So, I mean, you've got pretty much things covered, and it is a nice size field, to be sure. It's an interesting story. The defending gold medalist, however, is not back to defend. So this is going to be an opportunity. Somebody in this field is going to earn a gold and not have it be a defended medal. There are, as Eric said, a number of previous gold medal winners in the field, but the guy who won it here, and nobody in this is super sweep eligible, nor is the guy who won the sprints running this. So, that usually is an indicator of somebody who's really got some track savvy at this track, and they're not here either. So opportunity here for some people to make, obviously, some ground up, and I think it's going to be a very interesting race. And boy, have we lucked out so far. I don't want to jinx anything, but when we came back, as we were heading to that lunch break, it looked pretty ugly out there, and it has ended up being pretty nice right now. So we've got a little bit of time here, so let's get back down to Biz, who I think has tracked down another of these great pilotis.
Well, Joe Weinberger is lucky enough or talented enough to be on pole here in Road America. Joe, I tell you, this is a new class, an awful lot of creativity in this class. What brought the Audi together to grab the pole?
Well, it's a good package. I mean, this car it handles like a big go-kart. I mean, I think it doesn't have maybe the strength and straight line completely. The strength is being totally well balanced. It's great through the corners. It's fast on the straight, maybe not the fastest, but it's just a great package being all-wheel drive. And, I think it's easy on tires, it's easy on brakes, and it's a car that I can drive consistently.
So Elkhart Lake, of course, that's a very high-speed course. Now, it's one thing to qualify a car, it's another thing to race it. Are you going to be looking for a lot of competition from behind, some people with some better straight-line speed?
Absolutely. I think, yes. Absolutely. I don't think it's going to be a walkaway by any means. So I think it's going to, 13 laps is long here, and things settle out, probably midway through the race. And, as long as I keep it clean and kind of get in my own groove, run my race, I think we'll be fine.
And those long sweepers with the four-wheel drive, that's got to be sweet.
That's the strength for this car. Carousel and the kink are good.
All right, listen, they're blowing the whistles. We'll let you get to work. Congratulations on the pole position, and best of luck.
Thanks.
All right, Joe.
It's his second consecutive pole. Last year, he wasn't able to convert that into a win. Dropped back a little bit at the start, fought his way back up into second. And Chip, you alluded to the fact that car looks awfully familiar to you, not just from the outside, but from inside that cockpit. And one of my enduring images of all the years that I've called World Challenge, one of my favorite moments was here at Road America. You were in that car, and they had a tails away shot on the TV broadcast of that car through the carousel, and you were going through there. You had to have about 30-degree opposite lock on that thing, feeding it power just sideways all the way through the carousel. You're grinning right now. That was a sweet package then, and you tell me that Weinberger, they've just continued to develop it.
Yeah, it's great to see that he actually knows where the strengths and of that car are at this track. That car is all-wheel drive, and you can go in real hard in the carousel. And about mid-corner, when you start to push a little bit, you snap off oversteer, and it rotates the car. And when you go back to power, it had a differential that's 80-20. And you could just rotate the car almost like a BMW, but you keep your foot in maximum boost, and the car is just right at a perfect slide. Not too much because you cooked the tires, but that was a big win for us at Stasis.
While we've got a moment, let's take a quick look at the track. obviously, and obviously everything can change here when it starts to rain. But this track, 4 miles in length, 14 counted corners. There's a few bobs and weaves that they don't really, quite count into it. Dorsey's talked about it, throughout the broadcast too. It's unique in that it's got, a lot of tracks only have one place, one straight that you really reach high speeds. Here, there's 3. That obviously creates its own issues.
Yeah, the 3 main straightaways. You have your main straight coming down the main start-finish, and then going to turn 1's a very high-speed turn. It anticipates some braking, but it's just a very high-speed braking, and a lot of guys trying to carry momentum. As soon as you go 2x2, the car behind, a third-place car, is just going to gain on both the cars ahead of them. Turn 3 is important to get out of because that's another long straightaway going into turn 5. And turn 5 is one of the slowest corners on the track, from extremely high speed down to low speed. Through 6 and 7's momentum, carrying speed down to turn 8. Late braking, that's a good high percentage spot there to get some passes done. Carousel, carrying that speed. These cars are not going to be flat to the kink as far as the top runners with the times they're running. We were in touring car, we were a little bit of a breathe and a left foot brake.
Right.
But through the kink, you can get a good run and going to Canada corner. And getting late braking there on someone. But, again, carrying out of turn 14, coming on the front straightaway is your key component to maybe winning that last lap shootout or getting a run going into turn 1.
And that's the key. And obviously, all of that time on the throttle, climbing these hills and on these long straights, obviously, you use a lot of fuel. It's all about horsepower. You got to get rid of that speed in all of these tight downhill, many of them braking zones. This track can be very hard on brakes. So there's things to consider here. And we have the STU field now making its way out on the track. So let's get you through the starting lineup for this race here. 13 laps or 40 minutes, whichever comes first. And on the pole, we've talked about it, the number 3 of Joel Weinberg out of Hillsdale, Illinois. He runs out of Chicago region. And he is the defending silver medalist. He had pole last year, the Continental Audi Castrol Audi A4. Joining him, number 98, Mark Hoover out of Cameron Park, California, runs in the Arizona region. This is that Hoover Speed AMG Mazda Miata Turbo, and he is a gold medal winner, but he did it in 01, and he did it in D Sports Racing. So it's been a while, 10 years between golds for him, and obviously very different equipment. Qualified third is the gentleman that Biz also interviewed, Eric Heinrich, and that absolutely beautiful elephantmotors.com BF Goodrich Gulf liveried BMW M3. He's out of Milton, Massachusetts. New England region is what he runs in. This is his first runoff, and qualified third, not too shabby. The guy who joins him on that second row, number 26, Michael Flynn, also his first runoff out of Eustis, Florida, Central Florida region. The Irish Mike's BMW 325 E46, which is the ex-Techmark car that you were talking about, the ex-World Challenge machine. Starting fifth, number 34, Marty Grand out of Manassas Park, Virginia. He runs Washington, D.C. region. In 2010, he was the gold medal winner in the Touring 2 class in the AMS Performance Hoosier Mitsubishi Evo, and that is the Evo 9. It is a remarkable car. And interesting story here, qualified sixth, number 24, Matt Stahl out of Torrance, California. And he is driving the HPD BF Goodrich Acura RSX Type S. And in 2010, he had the showroom stock B pole, and had a moment during the race going into turn 5, got in a little too hot, got caught in that gravel and did a gentle rollover, but his day was done. But he certainly has some speed. Qualified 7th, one of the most experienced drivers at the Runoffs, 41, Mike Pettiford out of Louisville, Colorado region, the Go For It Racing School's Pontiac Solstice GSP. Qualified 8th, number 36, Joe McLuhan out of New Braunfels, Texas. He runs the Houston region, the Mazda Speed Hoosier. Mazda MPS 3. This is a little Mazda 3 wagon almost, it looks like, and it has some boost flowing through it. You can hear it out there, and he's having a great time. He won the gold medal in 2008 in Showroom Stock C. Starting ninth, number 11, Ron Polly out of Greenwood, Arizona, the Buccaneer region, his first run-up in the J. Polly Toyota Sign dealership's Lexus IS 300. Starting 10th, all the way from Loveland, Ohio, running out of Cincinnati region. He's teamed up with a great prep shop out of the Dayton, Ohio area, Coletti Motorsports. It's Bill Niemeyer running out of, as I said, Loveland, Ohio, in the BF Goodrich Acura RSX. He was a gold medalist in 2000 in F production. We take a look at the 11th spot on the grid. 0-1, Tom Wickersham out of San Ramon, California, San Francisco region, had his first runoffs in his Competition Auto Works Honda S2000. 12th would be 85, John DeBarros, who we talked about, the Kennesaw, Georgia driver out of Atlanta region, in his first runoffs in the All Out Auto USA BF Goodrich Mazda 6 X-World Challenge car. 13 is the man I mentioned, number 61, Rich Walke out of Hawthorne Woods, Illinois, out of Chicago region, the Dan Glitz Creative Technology Mazda RX-7. He is an ITS gun in the Central Division in the regional classes, and this is obviously his opportunity to run a national and to run the runoffs. Great to have him here. Qualified 14.08, Michael Latanzio out of Coraopolis, Pennsylvania. This is his first runoff. He's in the Sawicki Car Store, BMW. Starting 15th, number 65, Mike Jones out of South Bend, Indiana. He is running the Touche Factory Stance BF Goodrich, that Subaru Impreza WRX. Starting in the 16th spot, if he comes out, is Jim Drago. Remember, he had the mechanical problem in this Spec Miata race out of Memphis, Tennessee, number 2 in the East Side Racing Miata. 17th will be number 5, Pat Sandlin. He was also in the Spec Miata race, the East Street Racing Community Mortgage entry. 18, the 4 of Steve Goriaran out of Providence, Rhode Island, the 09 gold medalist in Spec Miata, if he comes out. 19th, Tom Kraft out of Des Moines, Iowa, in the Kraft Imports Miata. 20th will be 04 Dave Paul Fanier out of Naperville in the Kaplan Racing Systems Mazda Miata. 21st, 77, Ted Cahill out of Bellevue, Washington, in the Meathead Racing Miata. 22nd was number 25, Brian Laughlin, at his first run-ups in the Tulsa Radiology Associates Miata. And then number 84, Toby Grahovic out of Chicago, Illinois, two-time gold medalist in Showroom Stock C in the classic BMW Z4. And he is here, and he has made the grid, and he is on the back. Now that is a convertible version, and so it's going to be interesting to see. Did not have a great time in qualifying. Had some issues. Watch for the green. It is flying. We are underway. 13 laps to the national championship in STU, and it looked as though it was Weinberger in that Audi able to get a bit of a jump as Hoover in that Turbo Miata drops back just a little bit. Heinrich notches down underneath him. And let's see, Hoover going to force the issue around the outside. Beautiful move by Mark Hoover.
That was nice. Slid right back into second place there, right outside that BMW. They look good. A nice start. It seemed like they all got there's a nice little bit of gap between each of the rows, but they're going to figure themselves out here and figure who's fast and who's got straight line speed real quick.
Well, and absolutely, Marty Grand up from 5th to 4th in that gray Mitsubishi Evo entry. And that car also, when it launches out of a turn, it launches, folks. And you can see he has already taken a run at Heinrich and maybe going for third. Heinrich, though, let's see what he can do on the brakes. And it is Marty Grand able to out-deep him just a little bit on those brakes into 5. And then the launch up the hill. Heinrich now slots into 4th. And there's Stahl taking a run. I think that was... trying to see which car that was just up in front of Stahl, but it looked like he got the exit out of 5.
He tried to make a run on Irish Mike.
Yeah, Irish Mike, Mike Flynn in that BMW. Let's see, did he get it done? No. Mike able to hang on. Stahl looking very racy, as is Mark Hoover as he comes up on Weinberger. And that is exactly what Heinrich was talking about. You've got this great mix of stuff, and that MX-5 is a sweet handling car. You throw a turbo on that thing and give it some straight line speed, that's now become a weapon.
You hear it?
Yeah. And look at can he draft off that Audi? Look at the difference in size. He is just along for the ride right now, isn't
he? It's a cute little matchbox.
Through the kink, just went underneath that Hawk Performance Bridge that sets up just before the kink, so you can recognize that part of the track from the camera shots. Heading down now into Canada Corner. Look at that field coming through. Weinberger chased by Hoover, the Audi and the Miata. Both those cars spooling those turbos up as they exit that turn. And Grand, excuse me, I keep wanting to say Legrand, I don't know why. Marty Grand right there in third in that Mitsubishi, hanging on with Heinrich still right in his mirrors, no doubt about it. Now Weinberger in that Audi, this is where that car just loves those quicker corners. And 14, like 1, is a fairly quick corner. You don't do any heavy braking in it, and you've got to carry speed at the exit.
You know, the important thing is just getting your car turned and back to power as early as possible. A lot of people go in there and try to brake real late, but they fight the car through the mid-corner. But it's important to get the car rode down, get it turned in and rotated and back to power, because it starts your really long straightaway.
The sooner you can go to the throttle, the better the exit speed and the climb up that hill. And again, Heinrich in that beautiful BMW taking a look down the inside of Grand. Grand had it covered. Exit of 1 under the Briggs & Stratton banner, which means they just went over the Briggs & Stratton tunnel. Ooh, bit of a wiggle there for Grand under braking down into turn 3, so you know he's feeling the heat that Heinrich is bringing right now as they exit 3, both of them dropping those left rears as they're carrying every bit of speed possible down the straight. It looks like Mike Flynn has been able to gap Stahl and is in fact closing in on the back of Heinrich.
It sure does. It looks like he's trying to get in that draft and start figuring out how he can pick one at a time, but Heinrich's definitely looking for a spot. He's doing a great job. That little car, I mean, my mom has an 88 M3, and I know that from stock. I've driven a stock Evo, and that little car must be boogieing. I mean, they're great cars to begin with, that's for sure.
Now, it's a great battle, and it is Grand right now hanging on that AMS Performance Mitsubishi Evo, but Heinrich all over the back of him. That is just a good-looking car, that ElevateMotorsports.com entry, the BF Goodrich tires on that M3, and then you go back just a couple of car lengths, and Mike Flynn and the Irish Mike's BMW 325 is right there. And that's not your average 325. That's a World Challenge race prep one, and that's a pretty quick piece of equipment, too.
Yeah, I mean, Bimmer World does a great job prepping their cars in World Challenge, but Techmark really, when they had Nick Janssen, James Safranos, and and Jason Martinelli, those guys were top. I mean, Nick Janssen won in one of those cars.
Absolutely. Boy, Heinrich really, really quick through the carousel and able to tuck right up underneath that wing on the Mitsubishi. But as soon as they get out of the kink, you can just see Grand then goes full throttle, and that thing leaps ahead just a little bit. And here comes Mike Flynn, and look at Stahl. He has caught all of them, and he's trying the outside of Flynn. That caused Flynn to pinch the entry just a little bit. And let's see, can Stahl get a little bit better exit? Yeah, maybe, but he couldn't do anything with it because of this windy nature. You come out of 12, and even if you get a run, suddenly it turns right back across on you, then that left up through 13. And you've got to be perfectly placed, or that move is just not going to really end up paying off for you as good as it might have been. Now, here's that run up the hill, and this battle right now for third, fourth, fifth, sixth, it is as close as it can be.
Mike Flynn's right on him.
Oh, boy, he is. It looks like Stahl is a little short on top end.
Yeah.
Handling there, but just not the top end.
Yeah, I thought Mike was running pretty good there. I thought Mike was tucked in on the draft there, and it looks
wow.
It's amazing, though, how different these three cars are.
Yeah.
And the M3 was handling really, really well. Mike got a great run out of turn one there. Heading up, he's making a move to the inside of 3.
Let's see what Heinrich can do. Heinrich's not going to give up easy. Right behind Grand. Let's see, Heinrich able to hang on to it, but runs wide, and I think Flynn able to square up underneath. But the problem is, unless Flynn passes him early here as they go into the Sargento Bridge and heading down toward turn 5, Heinrich is going to have the inside down into turn 3. But one thing I noticed, whichever one of those BMWs it is behind that big, tall Mitsubishi, again, that Mitso is quick, but it punches a big hole in the air, and Heinrich stays inside and able to make it work there. Let's see if Flynn able to do anything on the exit. Not quite enough. And they head up into turn 6 under the Corvette Bridge, and just not able to do it yet. But, boy, that Mitso, as quick as it is, it definitely also opens up a pretty big gap. Air-wise.
Yeah, sure does. The M3 is tucked in there real nice down the front straight. And seems like, I think we just got, let's see. As they track out of turn 8 here, we're getting reports that it might have a little bit of smoke come out of the M3. We'll have to keep an eye on that here.
Here they go into the carousel, and this was an area that Heinrich seemed to really be able to carry some nice speed and flow, and Flynn as well. And this time Grand able to drive away just a little bit, and that's where Stahl reels him right back in again. That car out of 8 and through the carousel is just eating things up right now. Here's the kink, and now the run down toward Canada Corner, and Grand has a little bit of a margin right now. Then it's Heinrich, and it looks like Flynn might be going to the inside. Heinrich, well, and here comes Stahl. He's going to go for it, and he's alongside Flynn. Flynn just turns in, and I think Stahl realized, he's turning, and he dipped the brake and let him come across. That was a smart piece of driving by Stahl. If you wouldn't have done that, I think there would have been some contact, and that could have put both of them out. And we're only working the third lap of 13, so live to fight another day, as it were. And they come out onto that front straight one more time. It's still Weinberger and Hoover leading up front, but the margin those two have put in is about 7 seconds back to this battle in third. And Weinberger now has been able to open it up over Hoover just a little bit, just over 3 seconds at this stage. But we've got this great accordion battle going on for that final podium spot. Grand will open it up a little bit, and then it'll be just gobbled up like this. Boy, once Heinrich gets a little bit of that draft on the top end here, he's able to really close it down just a little bit. There's Mike Pettiford in the Solstice. Here's Niemeyer in that Coletti Motorsports entry, the Acura RSXS. And then here comes the rest of the pack right now as they come sliding through. There's McLuhan. And I'll tell you, it is fun to listen to. Oh, that's the 85, actually, of John DeBarros that we were talking about earlier. Different paint scheme, so obviously I didn't pick it out as your ex-Tyndall car. But he's having a good race right now.
Yeah, beautiful paint. It's very solid yellow. It really sticks out. I stopped over and take a look at it. I like black wheels they put on it with the yellow paint. Looks real nice. Really sticks out in this crowd.
Sure does. There's Niemeyer right behind DeBarros. That's the number 6 Coletti Motorsports entry. And then you've got that Honda S2000 entry of Tom Wickersham out of San Ramon, California, is in the mix as well. He's trying to take a run at Niemeyer right now, and he's got Niemeyer's attention. Moves to the inside. This is going to be the battle for the 10th spot. And Wickersham able to slide down underneath. Now let's see Niemeyer. Nice attempt, and he may have pulled it off on the over-under. Boy, he did it with ease.
That was beautiful. That was very well played. That was set up way back going into braking zone. That was all planned. The S2000 definitely came on the inside, and the Hackers like, okay, I see where you're going, but I'm just going to go over there. Thank you very much. Takes its spot back into turn 6.
Well, that's the old thing. I mean, the old driving school deal is fast in, slow out if you don't do it right, and that's exactly what happened there. And obviously Niemeyer read it beautifully, and that Coletti Motorsports Acura RSXS handling quite well, and he was able to just jump right back inside and pick that 10th spot back up. But I'll tell you what, that 01 at Wickersham, that car, those Honda S2000s is pretty well balanced.
Yeah, with the rear-wheel drive car, front engine, and high RPM, I mean, they're just a blast to drive. It's kind of like a cracked-out Miata, I think. I don't know. It's just I don't know. They used to be like 9,000 RPM.
Yeah.
But, they're well-balanced, and I see they put a rear wing on it for a little bit more stability on the high-speed stuff. But also looking at the lap times, it seems like Weinberger and Hoover have just a little bit on a different map here as far as lap times. And about a second, half a second between the two of them. It's pretty consistent with the last lap time in the 32s, and everybody else in the 34s and 35s. That's where they're getting their gap.
Yep, absolutely. And the fast laps, those two guys in front are running laps almost 4 seconds quicker than Marty Grand and this bunch that are running here. But they're providing a lot of great entertainment in this little battle. And again, when you've got one of these classes that's got that kind of open rules package, obviously,
you just saw
things on. That's Toby Grahovic, and he had been in the pits having a bit of a problem. This is definitely a developmental process for Grahovic in this program in STU, that BMW Z4 3-liter, and obviously he ran that the Z4 earlier in the day in a different car, full sedan coupe shape. And this is a whole different program, and it's evolving along, and had to make a stop in the pits. That's unfortunate.
We just saw down the straightaway going to turn 1 that Heinrich got in there deep and I guess tried to carry momentum and got out there wide, and Mike Flynn just read it perfectly and made a move to the inside of 3 and took the position from him. So now he's put his sights on the Evo. Exactly,
and we're starting to see from the right rear corner that number 10 BMW that's now sitting in the 5th spot of Eric Heinrich, that smoke a little bit more prevalent at that right rear corner. So we'll keep an eye on that as they head down into turn 8. There is Stahl, who has not given up on this battle by any stretch, in the number 24 HPD BF Goodrich Acura RSX, also an RSX Type S. And boy, Flynn not wasting any time once he got by Heinrich. He's definitely closing in fairly quickly on Marty Grand.
Mike Flynn, I think, just took a little bit to get in the groove. There's a battle for, looks like it's 12th, is it 12th place?
11th to 12th,
11th,
yeah. 12th to 13th. It is the number 61, Rich Walke, right there is going after it. And they're saying from the number 10, Heinrich's car, it's that smoke, it's accompanied by a fairly heavy gear oil smell. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that to be sure. But meanwhile, this is a good scrap as Walke. And boy, did he come from a long ways back to try and make that pass. Couldn't quite get underneath, and that's Mike Latanzio. And could not quite get it done on Walke. And Walke was the guy I was talking about. That car, as it sits, it is built to ITS, Improved Touring S-Spec, which is an SCCA regional-only class. And that's the opportunity to bring that car here. STU is sort of the catch-all, allows him to drive and have a race at the SCCA National Championship Runoffs. And this guy is virtually untouchable in ITS here in the Central Division. And he knows this track, and virtually everywhere he goes, he just wins. This is a little bit different level, obviously. The prep on the cars in front of him well exceeds what he has to do for ITS. But nonetheless, he was qualified, was able to come here and run in the runoffs, and that's something special. You don't get to do that very often.
Yeah, I just looked in there. That Lexus 300 looks very, very familiar. Is Andrew Wajceko from Canada up at Mosport? Yeah. I think that might be his old car.
Okay.
The paint job's exactly the same, and he had those cars for sale. So there's another car out of Canada.
Yeah.
That's a World Challenge car that ran Mosport often. It's another car that's used to run the top 10 in World Challenge.
It did, yeah. I mean, it was a really strong car in that category, and obviously not too bad here. We've kind of ignored this guy for a while because he's had such a big lead. It is Weinberger in that Audi A4, and he's just driven brilliantly at this point and has continued to just ease away, stretch that margin up a little bit as he heads underneath the Johnsonville Bridge and through the long arcing carousel where this car really is fun. You heard him say it too. He said, yeah, the carousel and the kink, he said that's where this car really comes into its own, heading right toward that Hawk Performance Bridge right now. Here he goes underneath that, heading toward the kink. And he has not put a wheel wrong yet, and he has driven superbly and quickly.
That's just a great looking car. Dude, missed driving that one. That was a great experience. We went from the B5A4
Yep.
to the B6 where Memo Gidley was helping us, and then we built this B7 chassis, and it turned out to be a great car with Fred Baker, Jeff Gordon, Ian Boss, and Adam Pecorari. And it's neat to see he left. That car looks exactly like we raced it. The graphics, the trunk lid,
Everything.
I don't think the number.
Yeah.
That's all he changed the number, put his name on the side.
Yep, exactly. And why not? Because you're not going to come up with a better graphics package than that, I don't think.
Well, I'd like to say we did a pretty good job.
I think you did a
Yeah.
great job. And speaking of great jobs, look at this battle. Grand still hanging on to that final podium spot. In that battle, Heinrich, he ran wide, hit that those rumble strips on the outside. They graduate downward, and it gets rougher and rougher and rougher, and he hit it on that far outside edge, and it really unloaded that car right as he hit the dirt.
Oh, man, that car started to chatter and hop, and when it grabbed, it shot him straight across, and he had his hands full.
Yeah, he did well not to end up in that inside barrier over there. It's a nice catch, obviously, after making that little mistake. And he is heading over now trying to make the run and catch these two guys again. One of our spotters relaying that there's some experience with that area of the corner.
They understand.
Yeah.
They understand.
Yeah. We get it. And, boy, here he comes. That is Flynn right now. Now he doesn't have to worry about looking in his mirrors, and he can just focus on trying to get by this Mitsubishi. And, Mike Flynn, he wants this, and he is going after it right now. And it's always nice to not have those mirrors filled with another car, so at least you get a little bit of a breather. Now, maybe Heinrich can run him down again, and it'll be interesting, but it sure is fun. There you just got a shot of Mark Hoover, who is now a lonely second, as he is 10 seconds behind Weinberger, but 10 seconds clear of Marty Grand, as these guys are starting to tear it up just a little bit and come into the fray here down into turn 5.
It's the battle for the bronze medal here. So
Yeah.
this is good racing here. It seems like the BMW is hooked up on their braking and cornering and coming out, but it seems like you said, on the tight corners, turn 5 and turn 8, with a slower speed turn on track out, that Evo is laying boost and just all-wheel drive. Not power slide, but it's getting the power down a little bit better.
It just hooks up.
Yeah.
It just gets you got 4 wheels delivering the power, and it's got plenty of power, so obviously that's a big benefit. Exit to 8, and you can see he gets on it, and that thing just, that little bit of a slide tracks out, and he goes for it. But here is where Flynn will start to reel him in just a little bit as they gather up, and that BMW, look at it close up here, and let's see if he's got anything. You got to be awfully brave to try a pass into the kink, but if you can stay close, keep the draft, that sets you up for a nice move down into Canada Corner, maybe.
Unless you're Jim Downing.
Well, unless you're Jim Downing. Oh, what a save by Stahl. He was absolutely dead flat sideways and saved it, and that was in the kink. If it went wrong there, it was going to be huge, and he held on to it. We just caught the end of it. And right now, I think he's probably just trying to catch his breath
I think
back.
he's checking his pants.
Get his that. I was trying to avoid saying that. But thank you.
Okay.
I was going to say get his heart rate under control, but you're right. Get other body parts under control as well. That was spooky.
That's the scary part of the track. It's very high speed. Oh man. Man, Flynn is making him drive, Marty Grand just drive the wheels off that thing. This is what it's all about. It's still only midway through the race.
Yeah, exactly. We're almost at exactly the halfway point here. And the interesting thing is we're also seeing Heinrich has been drawing back in on these guys just a little bit. So this is a great one to be sure. Weinberger's got it covered up front. Hoover that lonely second in that Turbo Miata. But then this great battle for the final podium spot, and that means the final medal spot between Marty Grand in the Mitsubishi, Michael Flynn in the BMW, Aaron Heinrich in a different BMW, and then the sideways Matt Stahl in that Acura. It's a good one, and we're going to have a lot more of it when we come back. This portion of the 48th Annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs is being brought to you by Mazda, Zoom Zoom, by Volkswagen, Das Auto, by Black Magic Car Care Products, and by Gum Out, cleaning since 1945.
What do you drive? Is it inspiring? Was it built by a behemoth car maker? Or insightful craftsmen obsessing over the details, building better cars for a discerning few? Are you one of the few who care about what you drive and how it drives? We're with you because we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. We build Mazdas. What do you drive?
Gum Out Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner helps restore lost horsepower and fuel economy. Just pour an entire bottle of Gum Out Regain into your tank before your next fill-up. Powerful cleaning additives attach themselves to fuel system carbon deposits and safely and effectively lift them away. That way, deposits burn up, then pass through the exhaust. Gum Out Regain additives even leave a protective barrier to help keep new deposits from forming for up to 3,000 miles. Get a bottle of Gum Out Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner today for reduced engine hesitation, surging and knocking, as well as restored fuel economy and lost horsepower, all within one fill-up.
Okay, it's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You treat the freeway on-ramp like your own personal racetrack, and you love the smell of burning rubber. Well, good news, Speed Junkie. The Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and 2,000 events across the country, the SCCA has all the wheel-spinning, engine-revving excitement you can handle. Want to dance on the edge of control? In SCCA Solo, you'll learn the blacktop two-step with an army of cones trying to trip you up. If slinging mud is your thing, check out SCCA Rallycross, where power slides and rooster tails are the name of the game. And if wheel-to-wheel competition is what you crave, SCCA Club Racing lets you chase the checkered flag on America's toughest racetracks. Join the Sports Car Club of America today and feed your obsession.
Road trip, buddy. Let's put some music on.
Welcome to Learning Spanish in the Car.
You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, this is good.
Vámonos.
Vámonos.
Gracias.
Gracias.
13 horas en el carro sin parar y no traes música. Mira, entra y cómprame unas papitas.
Get up to 795 miles per tank in the all-new Volkswagen Passat TDI Clean Diesel.
Back at the Runoffs. I love saying that. It's very special to be here and be a part of this. This is the 48th running of the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs, third year at Road America.
There it is.
And look at this moment by Mr. Stahl. That was a save, Chip.
Wow. I tell you what, he was, what happened, I think, if I was guessing, he dipped the wheel and turned in. On the outside, left side of the track, he went to turn in, and it caught, and it threw the car sideways, and he was full lock the whole way through the mid-corner. Great save.
And the nice thing with the front drive car is you turn those wheels and you gas it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just to try and pull out of it, and it either works or it doesn't. I remember seeing Pierre Kleinubing make a save at turn one here where he was completely sideways, same deal. And that was a great save by Matthew Stahl in that HPD BF Goodrich Acura RSX. So kudos to him. Lost him some time, obviously, but better to lose a little time than to lose the car in one of those walls there as he goes through the kink. Much cleaner this time.
Well,
and that's how you want it to track. And boy, look at that. That low sun as we're getting a little bit late in the day here. That's an awfully pretty piece of racetrack back there. And this is an awfully racy bit of racetrack because look who's rejoined the battle.
Yeah.
Heinrich, smoke and all. That car is hooked up. Yeah,
Heinrich's definitely in the hunt. He's looking. He can taste and smell that third place medal, and he's got nothing behind him. So what do I have to lose? But he's back in the hunt here. But I'll tell you what, this group is starting to close on Mark Hoover, and they are definitely making up some ground on him. And we were chatting in the break, and you made the comment about the issue. There's Mark Hoover right there, and they're definitely closing up. And you made the comment about when you're running a lot of boost in these turbos, the longer the race goes, things can happen. Yeah, well, you have a turbo car that's running boost. You see how he just hit the rumble strips, and he's doing a little checking the brakes. There's a lot of things that come into play when you're running a car like this. It's heavily modified. You got to make sure your brakes are there because you're running probably 130 plus mile, maybe 140 in this little car. I guess something like that. And the heat soak could be an issue because, like the Audi A4 touring car, we never had an issue because the car's naturally turboed. Right. With the proper intercoolers and everything else from Audi. With the we just heard on a report that the Turbo Miata of Hoover was the fastest car that last lap, but so there must be no issues with the heat soak. But these are just a lot of things coming to play with, and there's so much technology going on every lap.
Well, and as you pointed out, a car that's designed to run the turbo, as opposed to a car that you're just jamming a turbo in there. There's not a lot of space, and you got to figure out the intercooler, how to get that car cooled and the like. It all plays into it. I know in current World Challenge, the Randy Pope's Volvo's team, that the guy referred to it once when I asked him to, kind of show me around inside the engine compartment there, and he made the comment about, and he pointed at the turbo and goes, and this is where we have the nuclear reactor. Just because of the heat, because they were running so much boost in that thing. And in their early years, that was the weak link, was it just would get too hot.
Yeah.
And so this is interesting, and it's good to see that Hoover was able to run the fastest lap of anybody. So obviously they've done their homework on this car and making sure that turbo doesn't fade.
Yeah, I'm sure they've done the development work. I mean, Hoover Motorsports does a great job. The Atlanta Motorsports Group with Jason Hoover, they do MX5 Cup, and they're very familiar with their Miatas and Mazdas in general, and they have a good rental car program. And this is probably just something that Jason and his dad were like, hey, wonder if we could just take one of these awesome handling spec Miatas, bolt a turbo on it, put a carbon fiber wing on it, and a front splitter, and go run STU.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I've announced Mark Hoover for a lot of years, and he was a stalwart in the DSR class. But for him, the joy of that class was when it was the home-built engineering, when you could build your own chassis and really tool on it. And, of course, that class has evolved so far past that with all the ground effects, tunnel cars. It's insane compared to what it was when Mark was running it, what he loved about it. This, to me, makes sense. And now he's going, we got this class where, guess what, the rules are kind of open. Let's take this car, throw this on it, try this, and do a little engineering development stuff and having an absolutely great time of it. And right behind him, as we talked about, this battle remains virtually unchanged. And Heinrich trying to make a change as he comes up, takes a look at the inside of Mike Flynn. Couldn't quite get it done there. This, folks, remains that battle for that final podium spot and that bronze medal. And it's unbelievable right now what we are seeing in this battle. These guys just refuse to give it up. And I think, Stahl would have been right in it would he not have had that moment. But we also just got word that Mark Hoover cut 4 seconds out of Joel Weinberger's lead in that last lap. So, boy, that's getting interesting as well here.
Yeah, this race is far from over.
Some traffic here.
What's a little bit of smoke there on the Evo there off the front tire? I don't know if that's just brake or what's going on.
Oh, look at this.
Something's wrong.
Yeah, something went wrong. Flint cut down underneath and made the pass.
That could have been some steam from the turbo and overheat or something, but something went wrong.
Yeah, you can see it. Look at that right front corner there. You can see it puddling down there.
We're going back to that heat soak.
Yep.
A lot of heat. You probably lost a turbo inlet pipe or something.
So Flynn now finds himself up into that third spot with Heinrich in fourth.
Oh, no!
And Flynn, just a little bit greedy on the exit of turn 8, went to the throttle, and he was out on those rumble bumps, got out on the far edge of those. And like I said, they graduated to a much rougher ride to dissuade drivers from doing just that. And then when you go to the throttle right as you're on top of it, it just snuck away from him. He actually came right back across the track. And looked like he got into the tires, but fortunately they did the job. No serious damage to the car, Chip.
Well, let's just hope that when he comes past the Hawk Performance Bridge here that he comes into the kink, that his tires are cleared off.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
he tracked through there.
Okay, that looks good.
And,
wow.
Oh, that was a big moment.
And now there's smoke. Now there's smoke coming off.
Smoke, yeah. So I'm guessing maybe there's a piece of bodywork that's folded back on those tires.
And
here. Yeah, you can see the little bit of damage on that left rear corner, but it looks like the smoke's coming from the right side.
Very gentle contact with the tire wall. The right rear tire is definitely rubbing. It's where most of the impact happened.
So it shifted the bodywork, obviously. Yeah. And Stahl now right there, right back in it. Both of them now have lost a little bit of ground. Let's go back and take a look at what happened to Irish Mike here, Mike Flynn, at the exit right there of 8.
Oh, man, it looks like it just got a little wide and lifted, and when he hit those rumble strips, it started to chatter and maybe bottomed out the rear suspension once it got to the point. A lot of the touring cars, with the way the suspension is, how low they are, they have a lockout in the steering. So you can't really go lock to lock like a street car. So you get to a point where you get so sideways, it's not coming back.
Right.
That's not the fast way to drive a car, is sideways. So I know that when I drove for Tri-Point, they had a lock because of the way the steering was and the brake ducts.
Yep.
Otherwise, you'd start smashing things. And so you just felt like all you could drive is, a certain degree. But, Mike Flynn's been putting a really good run in here.
Yeah,
and those guys were reeling down Hoover. But looks like...
Hoover's doing the reeling now as he's trimmed that margin on Weinberger now down to just over 8 seconds, and it was well over 10. And by the way, we do get the report that Marty Grant did continue from turn 5, but obviously sat there for quite a while, lost some time. Oh, and Hoover dropping those left sides big time, exiting 7.
He's
which
driving
gives you an idea of how hard he's pushing, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see coming out of 5, he was definitely getting a little loose, and then up in 6, he was tracking out and getting a little sideways, but just a little bit. These cars, the way the Spec Miata set up, that I don't know what suspension he's running. I didn't see the car, but I'm sure he's probably running a little bit more. The technology and the suspension is probably a little bit more than just a Spec Miata kit, maybe like an Öhlins or Moton. But the car, it's like a go-kart, so you can catch it on little slides. But we saw in a Spec Miata race, you can go real sideways.
Oh, absolutely.
And still catch it.
And still catch it. And the thing with 7, it's that follow-away corner, and it's off camber. That's the thing that you really can't catch you out. You turn in at the wrong time there, and you can go for an interesting ride. Ooh, he locks it up there. Boy, he is pushing so hard. He's, as they say, giving it a bit of welly.
Yeah, well, he's just, what's he have to lose? He got nothing really behind him for a good gap. And, they're coming in the last lap, this to go one to go.
There's Marty Grand, obviously, and he's going to go down a lap. He already has gone down a lap to Weinberger. Gives you an idea how long he sat there at 5. And it's unfortunate that Mitsubishi is definitely a bit wounded right now. Speaking of Weinberger, again, we haven't seen a whole lot of him in that Continental Audi Castrol BF Goodrich A4. And he now starts the final lap, and we're going to get an official read on the margin here. Has it been Hoover being able to Hoover trims another half second off of it. But you have to think that that's partly Weinberger because he's not running out onto the rumbles anywhere. He's got it. He's running well within his limit right now, I think.
Yeah, he's protecting the car. He's making sure that if you start driving on curbing, you just risk the fact of cutting a tire or breaking a shock. I mean, there's so many things that come into play with road racing. So if you don't hit any curbs, you stay on all the perfect flat parts, you should be okay. And that's what he's doing. His crew's probably... He's probably got a great crew behind him, plus he's working with Fall Line Motorsports. They do a lot of pro stuff, so they're probably saying, hey, you got a 10-second lead. It's 1 to go. Just be cool. Hit your marks. Yeah. It's yours to lose, buddy.
Yep, and he's, that's the first time we've seen him run over the white line on any corner, and that is a pretty common place to do it, up and under the Corvette Bridge, and he has driven really a superb race. And he had that problem last year where he was on pole, dropped back to 4th, and just couldn't quite catch Richard Cullen, who was running one of Real-Time Racing's X-World Challenge Acuras. So he just couldn't quite get the job done last year, but was very quick, obviously. This year has had no such dramas and has just driven an absolutely spot-on race underneath the Johnsonville Bridge heading into the carousel.
Yeah, I talked to Joel a little bit earlier, and he just mentioned how he's a new car franchise dealer with Audi, and he actually has I talked to John Doonan, and he actually has a Mazda store, too.
Oh, okay.
But he fell in love with his Audi and wanted something to race, and he was in the open-wheel cars. He was in Formula Fords. He was running a lot of different racing, and even Spec Miata, and he said, I just love this car. Paul Lambert and him couldn't come together, and he ended up running with Real-Time in 09. So he said, I got beat by a car I raced. So he's like, I knew what it was doing when I was racing it, but this year it's obviously his time, and he's really, maybe he just got more comfortable in the car.
That could be. That could absolutely
be. But he's
be.
showing.
He was quick last year, to be sure, but this is he's doing just brilliant this year. Here's your battle for 4th, Mike Flynn and Matt Stahl going at it, not for a medal, but for pride, certainly. And here comes Weinberger. And you said that he also, with his Audi dealership, he carries stasis parts as well. So there's a great connection there. And now he can really hang a performance tag on that because he can hang a gold medal in that dealership and say, you betcha, we know what's happening. Here he comes, a brilliant drive. Joel Weinberger bringing the Continental Audi Castrol BF Goodrich Audi A4 across the line and bringing himself a gold medal to go with the silver that he had from last year. He had the fast lap last year. He no doubt has it this year as well. And Mark Hoover trimmed that to 6 seconds on that last lap, and we'll get the silver here as we're watching Heinrich come by. He is going to be your bronze medalist. Nice drive. He had to come back, folks, remember, from that big moment he had. And then Mike Flynn hanging on over Matt Stahl. both of them having big moments at different parts of the track, fighting back and having a great battle right to the flag. And Flynn brings it home in fourth with Stahl in fifth. And should be Mike Pettiford in sixth, McLuhan in seventh, DeBarros in your other X car. A lot of X cars you got out there, Chip. In eighth, Wickersham and Bill Niemeyer once again in the Coletti Motorsports entry. Great drive, right where he qualified, a very consistent race for him. And look at these two guys out enjoying this moment. And Mark Hoover obviously is thinking, all right, we take it back to the shops.
Make more boost.
Jason and I will get to it, and we'll figure this out one more time.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll put another game plan together because now they have an idea what the rule package allows.
Sure.
That Audi. So now they kind of size each other up for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a class we're going to see on the grow. Obviously, as long as there's some level of restraint on outright costs in it, I think this is a class that's got a great future. And I love the idea, like I said, that you know it's a place where ITS guys can come and run in a national level. And as Eric said, guys from other racing organizations can bring a car over that maybe otherwise wouldn't fit within SCCA and make it happen. It's absolutely great. And for the Sports Guy Club of America, that's just win-win because it means more people coming and racing with them. And that's awesome. So one last time, for everybody except Weinberger, one last time up and underneath the Hawk Performance Bridge and through the kink, because he'll get that checkered flag, get to do that one more time on the lap of honor here. But I'm sure he's enjoying this moment too, Chip.
Yeah, he sure is. I mean, he was really excited, and it was it's a long time coming for him. And, last year I think he thought he had a real shot being on the pole, and it just, as we've seen in the last few races, it just doesn't always work out, even though you're on the pole. But, he was really confident and feels good about the car. And he said, I just feel really comfortable, and I just really love driving it. Because even if I didn't have an Audi dealership, I'd still keep the car.
Well, that's the thing. When you find that car that really fits you, it's a special thing. And, you talked about how that car felt when you were driving it, around this track and around other tracks. And I was calling those races when you were racing them. And it was just like you could do no wrong. The car was just solid, and you get a good pilot behind the wheel, and magical things happen, and they sure did today. And Joel Weinberger making that right-hand turn into pit lane and right up toward the victory circle area. And we're going to obviously be chatting with him. John Bizignano will be shortly. And when he gets his award in Victory Circuit, it'll come from the chairman of the board of directors of the Sports Car Club of America and the director from Area 2, Jerry Winarka, will be presenting that trophy. Very special indeed. And, for Weinberger, pole last year, couldn't quite bring it home for the win. Got it done this year, and with a sweep. Pole, fast lap, and a gold medal as well. Doesn't get a whole lot better than that. Here comes Hoover. I like your point about this is their first year with this package, and now it's like, all right, we know what we can do with the rules. We know what we need to do now.
And it finishes.
Yeah. And it was fast late, so it wasn't something they weren't dealing with turbo fade and all that. So they know they've got a good base package, and now it's just develop it up a little bit, and I think it could be something special indeed for Eric Heinrich. What a debut runoff. That's very cool to come over here and give his first go in SCCA during the season, qualify for the runoffs, and come in and bring it home in a bronze. There he shows up with that beautiful machine. And there we are. Let's head down to John Bizignano. Boy, I'll tell you, John, he didn't put a wheel wrong today.
Well, you're absolutely right. He did not put a wheel wrong. He almost made it look easy. Joel, I've got to ask you, the car and your driving, you said it earlier that this was the package that fit your driving style. It certainly paid off.
It sure did. I mean, the car performed flawlessly again, as it has all week. So it just, it was nice to see how it would stack up against everybody else, because I really never saw the other front row competitors during qualifying. I kind of really isolated myself and focused. And so to be able to then be in the race against them and see how I could do under pressure was great.
Well, you had a little pressure there in the first lap. That little turbo was all over you.
Yeah, he was. I thought he was going to be all over me for a little bit longer, but it seemed like again, that cornering is very strong in this car. So I don't think it was the straight line as much as being able to go through some of those corners a little faster.
Well, the more speed through the corners, the more speed down the straightaways after those corners. Here you come with the gold medal, Joel. Congratulations, a lot of work.
It's for a while.
Who do you have to thank for this? Within the next half hour.
Well, I want to thank my dad and my wife for holding down the fort at home. I want to thank Fall Line for putting together a great car. I want to thank my sponsors, Continental Audi, Castrol, BF Goodrich put a great set of tires on this car. I want to thank SCCA and the workers. Without them, we couldn't have this event. So just thanks everyone. It was great. Thank the competitors too. They really did it was nice. I met a lot of the front row guys and just a really quality bunch of guys, so it was nice to race with them.
Congratulations on the gold. Back to Mark Hoover in second place in this beautiful turbocharged Miata. Mark, here comes the Christmas card right here. Mark, I've got to ask you. I mean, first couple laps, you were right up the exhaust of this Audi, but just couldn't keep the speed.
Yeah, well, you know, there's a couple things going on. This was a maiden voyage for this car, for one, and my maiden voyage here for another. So it was tough. I made some mistakes beginning of the race.
When you say a maiden, I got to ask. When you say a maiden voyage, is that the first time you in this car have raced it?
Yeah, raced here. Yeah.
So what car did you qualify in?
Well, I qualified in this car, but with a different power plant in it. So we converted it to a turbo power for the runoffs.
Why would you come to the championship with a brand new car and a brand new approach on the motor?
Because just for fun, you know. And we got good math. Okay, the math was good, and it seemed like a reasonable thing to do. And I don't think it was. I mean, it was a 2,400 mile tow, so. And I figured we were going to have a whole lot of fun and maybe get lucky, and I think we did pretty good considering.
Well, that silver medal around your neck is worth every mile of that 2,400 mile tow. Safe drive home, mate.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations. Third place in this beautiful car. Another photo op happening here. Eric, I'm sorry. I've got to tell you. I'll tell you, our chat beforehand, I was rooting for you throughout the entire race. John Wire, Porsche, golf colors going around Elkhart Lake once again. But I'll tell you, you had to be the happiest man in the world when you saw those two cars in front of you disappear, though.
Well, you know, I knew it was going to be a tight race because there were a lot of fantastic drivers and a lot of well-prepared cars. I went a little hard at the start. Made a couple of mistakes. Mike Flynn got by me, and I figured, you know, I know I'm as fast, or at least as fast as those guys, and probably faster. I think I'll just bide my time, let them fight it out, and see when I have an opportunity. And my opportunity came in a couple of spots. I took advantage of it, and then I just tried to drive a clean, smooth race the rest of the way in. And here I am, my first runoffs. I'm on the podium with the winningest touring car in history, putting one more notch on that belt there. Thrilled for the support from Elephant Motorsports and German Performance Service and BF Goodrich, and I just had a fantastic time here, my first year running with the SCCA, and I will be back for a lot more in the future.
I have another question for you, though. You must also have the strongest left rear wheel builder possible, because that thing took a couple of really good whacks on the outside of a few corners. What was going on there?
Well, you know, I was pushing a little hard, and I was trying to make the pace, and you know, you have to walk a fine line of riding that balance of at the limit, and sometimes you need to just step over it, but not too much, and that means taking a couple of calculated risks. And you know, the car felt great, and I just tried to maintain a good pace. But yeah, you have to take some risks, and you know, actually, I learned walking that very fine line of dancing on the limit and just stepping over the limit from participating in the SCCA Solo 2 Autocross program with the New England region, and that there are some great drivers that have taught me some great skills there as well.
And one mistake there, you're finished. So
yeah, one mistake there. I mean, you've got 3 course walks to get it down, so that, you know, gives you some good qualifying skills. And yeah, one mistake in a tenth of a second, and you could be 5 places back in Solo 2. So that definitely is a skill set that comes in handy here.
Well, congratulations on creating this car and bringing its history even further glory here at Elkhart Lake, and a great first year in the SCCA. Congratulations on it.
Thank you very much.
I'll tell you, I think he'll be back from now on, guys.
Tell you what, Biz, I think some of the folks from SCCA that were listening are already going, okay, mark that. That's going to be the lead-in for our next commercial for SCCA, and he's the new spokesperson talking about the Solo program. And he is absolutely right. I mean, it is an awesome training ground. Guys like Randy Popes and Petey Cunningham and numerous others have come through that. Here's a look at the unofficial results. Weinberger, Hoover, Heinrich, your gold, silver, and bronze medalists. Flynn and Stahl both having eventful races and a great battle at the end, down for that 4th and 5th spot. Pettiford, McLuhan, John DeBarros, Wickersham, and Niemeyer can wrap up the top 10 here after 13 laps of racing. Then Polly, Latanzio, Walke, Laughlin, Palfinier, and Kraft, along with Marty Grand. Sad. I mean, he obviously had a quick car and would have been a player for that 3rd medal anyway. Then Grahovic developing that new Bimmer, Jones and Drago obviously having some problems and not being able to get out and take the start. So pretty amazing race that we saw unfold here. Obviously Weinberger, it was a big margin, just over 6 seconds at the end, but Hoover was coming, and obviously Weinberger was driving very comfortably at that point. So some pretty impressive racing that we saw, and that comeback drive by Heinrich, always interesting. And I think the key there was Hoover. We talked about it. He's a tinkerer. And that's what he loved about the old CSR, DSR. Now that that's changed, this is the place, and I think we're going to see some great developments from that program down the road. And that's what makes STU such an exciting category. Hope you've enjoyed the call here of this STU National Championship run. Congratulations to Joel Weinberger, our gold medalist, along with Hoover and Heinrich in the silver and bronze. This portion of the 48th Annual SCCA National Championship Runoffs is being brought to you by Mazda, Zoom Zoom, by Volkswagen, Das Auto, by Black Magic Car Care Products, and by Gumout, cleaning since 1945.
What do you drive? Is it inspiring? Was it built by a behemoth car maker? Or insightful craftsmen obsessing over the details, building better cars for a discerning few? Are you one of the few who care about what you drive and how it drives? We're with you because we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. We build Mazdas. What do you drive?
Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner helps restore lost horsepower and fuel economy. Just pour an entire bottle of Gumout Regain into your tank before your next fill-up. Powerful cleaning additives attach themselves to fuel system carbon deposits and safely and effectively lift them away. That way, deposits burn up, then pass through the exhaust. Gumout Regain additives even leave a protective barrier to help keep new deposits from forming for up to 3,000 miles. Get a bottle of Gumout Regain Complete Fuel System Cleaner today for reduced engine hesitation, surging and knocking, as well as restored fuel economy and lost horsepower, all within one fill-up.
Okay, it's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You treat the freeway on-ramp like your own personal racetrack, and you love the smell of burning rubber. Well, good news, Speed Junkie. The Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and 2,000 events across the country, the SCCA has all the wheel-spinning, engine-revving excitement you can handle. Want to dance on the edge of control? In SCCA Solo, you'll learn the blacktop two-step with an army of cones trying to trip you up. If slinging mud is your thing, check out SCCA Rallycross, where power slides and rooster tails are the name of the game. And if wheel-to-wheel competition is what you crave, SCCA Club Racing lets you chase the checkered flag on America's toughest racetracks. Join the Sports Car Club of America today and feed your obsession.
Road trip, buddy. Let's put some music on.
Welcome to Learning Spanish in the Car.
You gotta be kidding me. Yeah, this is good.
Vámonos.
Vámonos.
Gracias.
Gracias.
13 horas en el carro sin parar y no traes música. Mira, entra y cómprame unas papitas.
Get up to 795 miles per tank in the all-new Volkswagen Passat TDI Clean Diesel.